Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! Here goes the mother! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Come on!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going?
Okay. It's going good. But you've never done this before. You do the intro, and I just see your eyes bugging in every direction. What the hell was that?
No, I'm sitting here. So for anyone wondering, we do this over Zoom, and my webcam is right in front of me. And normally when I do the intro, I'm looking at myself on my computer screen. But then I was like, wait, let me look up at the actual webcam. So if Richard's looking at at his screen, it looks like I'm staring at him in his eyes.
Oh
so
my God.
That's what I was doing. So like this. So I'm staring at my webcam right now.
Stop looking at me. We're not looking eye to eye. If you look at your screen, look at the screen.
Okay,
yeah,
look at the screen.
Now you're looking at up. There you go. Now you're looking at me in the eye.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah, this is not creepy.
See,
at
this
all.
is why we need to do videos now, so people can see this interaction. Like,
no one wants to see this.
yes, we do. Yeah. But yes, here we are back at it for another episode of In The Kliq. So much to talk about. Man, I thought last week was busy between the rumors of Stone Cold Steve Austin potentially coming back to the ring for one more match, at least at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes leaving AEW, potentially coming back to WWE. This week, more news started coming out. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Some clickbait news. So it was announced from Mike Johnson from PW Insider that Cesaro has left the company. Unfortunately, you can read the full report online, but just to sum it up, I guess him and WWE have been in contract negotiations for a while, couldn't come to an agreement, so his contract just expired and he just decided to walk away from it all. And a lot of people were like, wait a sec, I thought he re-signed last year with the company, and so why is his contract's up? Apparently last year was just a 1-year extension, so now he's, the 1 year is up. And it makes sense because think about 1 year ago, he started getting the push. We saw him win matches against Daniel Bryan. He had the match with Roman Reigns for the Universal title at WrestleMania Backlash last May. So late winter, early spring, he was getting like a good push with WWE. And then after that Roman match, kind of fell back down in the mid-card scene and kind of a little obscure from since then. So very interesting turn of events now in the last week. And yeah, Rich, I'll turn to you. Just kind of your thoughts on seeing Cesaro leave WWE.
I'm okay with it. I think he's probably leaving on good terms. Anything you ever hear about the guy, everyone says he's a great person. Mm-hmm. So, he's leaving the door open to come back if he wants. He might just take a little bit of a break. Not everyone has to go to AEW. So he could just say, hey, you know what? Let me reevaluate some things and get back to you. But as of right now, he's not with the company. That's fine. And if he doesn't come back, he's been there for 11 years. So it's, sometimes characters need a break.
Yeah, so. And that's the thing, too. It's like, he's been with them for almost 11 years, accomplished a lot. And I was going to run down a little bit of his accomplishments in a second. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Just because he didn't resign, he could resign. Who knows? Maybe like a month from now, maybe they have last minute talks again. He could sign again, or maybe, he wants to test the waters right now. There are a lot of opportunities. As you mentioned, a lot of people probably want to see him in AEW, but then again, there's a lot of people on that roster already trying to fight for TV time. I don't know if there's any room for him to come and have an impact. Then again, maybe you could go to Impact Wrestling. Dude, put on some banger matches with Josh Alexander potentially.
Be a good fit for the NWA too. Guy his size with they've got Aldis and
Cardona,
and they've got Tom Latimer and Corey Graves' brother Sam Adonis.
Yeah,
and Chris Masters, and it's kind of, they have guys that are wrestler builds there.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. So that's the thing. I was thinking like, okay, AEW. I mean, I think that's everyone's first option, but they're stacked already. I mean, the rumors is Swerve is going to sign there. Jeff Hardy's going to sign there eventually. Top of Keith Lee already just signed. I mean, they have a lot of people coming and going already in AEW. It's a stacked roster.
Let me ask you a quick question outside of this, real quick. Mm-hmm. If you're AEW, would you hire Jeff Hardy right now?
As far as just so they can reunite the Hardy Boys and give another tag team run for them
at the expense of his potential health.
I mean, that's the thing. We don't know the full details. They haven't revealed like Matt keeps saying on Twitch, like, I'll let Jeff tell his story. And it's like, okay, when's he going to tell it? I guess when the non-compete is up, or I don't know.
Matt also lies for his brother. So
he likes to tiptoe and keep kayfabe alive and not reveal everything. So
they've got them on camera on a WWE documentary from like, I don't know, right when they came back, and there's footage on there from like 20 years ago. And you can hear like Jeff start to talk about something, and Matt tells him to stop talking. I think the microphones are still on. Oh. And it's just kind of like, oh no.
So it's Matt, the older brother, just looking out for his younger brother, keeping him in check, sounds like.
I mean, would you not want like, hey, we need you to be sober for 30 days before we even decide to sign you?
I mean, that's the thing. Like Matt, I think, said, like, my brother's been sober. Like his drug test or whatever test came back negative.
Well, his issue the last time was alcohol, though.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another. I mean, so it's very confusing. It's kind of convoluted, like the latest issues with Jeff and a lot of the speculation. And I know in the past we talked about, like, we can't really assume anything. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? Like, hopefully Jeff will one day explain what happened on his most recent set of, quote, erratic behavior. Was it last December? that house show.
I saw something earlier this week where he said F WWE, but he would be happy to come back. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's what I'm getting at is, like, it seemed like there are other people lined up already going to sign with AEW. So I don't know where Cesaro could fit in that already. I would think Impact Wrestling would be a good spot for him. I mean, Impact apparently looks like, they do have some money because Anthem, which owns Access TV, owns them. I would think hopefully they could spend some money. If they could bring a guy like Cesaro in, I think at that point their roster is pretty stacked themselves, and I think they can get some momentum going again, and maybe hopefully bring themselves back up to a point where TNA once was, or to a certain extent. So Cesaro could be, I think, a really big fish in that smaller of a pond. But at the same time, I like the NWA option. I mean, how awesome would it be him and Cardona, maybe in a main event for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, Nick Aldis.
So you want to see Zack Ryder and Cesaro in a main event match?
I know. It's like, it's a WWE main event from 8 years ago.
I mean, he kind of fits that mold, though, for that lineage of belt.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, there's not really an identity for the AEW title, right? So it's just kind of, these guys have banger matches, and that's that.
Mm-hmm. Well, so with the other thing too is like New Japan. I mean, they have New Japan Strong here, dude. He could go to the G1 and probably like kick ass over there next this summer.
And they might want him in Los Angeles, so he didn't have to go as far. Yeah, that U.S. expansion is not going so great from what it looks like.
Yeah, so it looks like they're trying to like get themselves going again. They're putting on some shows along the West Coast, and I think Chicago's coming up. So New Japan here in the U.S. is trying to restart themselves. So yeah, he could be a really big name to come in there and kind of get things going, and kind of fits his style. The other thing too is keep in mind, Ring of Honor, they said, it was the end of last year, they're going to go on hiatus, come back in April, take the first quarter off of 2022. they do have that Supercard show lined up WrestleMania week in April. So it looks like Ring of Honor is coming back, which is a good sign. A little bit of a different business structure and logo and all this other stuff reimagining. But Cesaro, dude, he can go to Ring of Honor, maybe have a great match with Gresham, become the new Ring of Honor champion, kind of become the face of the new era of Ring of Honor. I mean, there are some options here.
The old face becomes the new face, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. World's greatest tag team back in the day. Yeah. So, I mean, there are options for him. Now, granted, is it the same money that WWE would offer? Probably not, but
he's probably saved a bunch.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would imagine so. And I'm sure for him, he probably wanted more money with WWE because you look at in the last few months, Kevin Owens re-signed, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles. So maybe he thought, okay, these guys are re-signing, and I'm sure it's either for the same amount, if not more money than what they were making before. So maybe he felt, hey, I want to get paid too. Maybe that's what the falling out was, that they couldn't come on a new salary that he was happy with. So I hope he gets paid somewhere at some point. The other thing, too, though, what do you think about his overall run in WWE over the last 10, 11 years? Because a lot of people online have been saying he's probably the most over guy to never win a championship, to never get that big push that a lot of people thought he deserved.
I don't think he deserved the big push.
Okay.
I think he was pushed well at certain times, and I think at other times he was cooled down. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with that either, but not everyone can be the main event, and I don't see him as a guy in 2010 to 2022 that is your attraction. The main event is putting butts in seats. It's not just the guy who's having great matches. Mm-hmm. He's that's a mid-card spot, and he was in the mid-card, and there's nothing wrong with being in the mid-card.
Yeah, it seemed like he was always kind of the mid-card scene, or he was more like a tag team specialist as well. Mm-hmm. Remember when he first got called up to the main roster, he was like rugby player, Antonio Cesaro. He was like the ex-boyfriend of, what's
Oksana.
her name? Oksana.
Yeah.
Pretty cool storyline they had going there. And then, pretty early on, he won the U.S. title, and that was like his only singles title win, which is shocking because he's had 7 tag team title reigns. And I remember he was tags with Jack Swagger as far as the Real Americans, Tyson Kidd, Sheamus, The Bar, and Shinsuke Nakamura at one point. So, he won 7 tag titles with 4 different guys. So
pretty good.
Yeah. So he definitely had success in the tag team division. And I always loved watching him. He was I think arguably the strongest guy pound for pound on that roster. Yeah. I mean, we saw he won the first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania, picked a Big Show and threw him.
He never won the IC belt?
I don't think so, which I thought he'd be a great IC champion because of the workhorse mentality that a lot of people connect with the Intercontinental Championship.
He's Buff Bagwell.
What, he was an American Males or?
Buff just always won tag team gold.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
And, I think a lot of people were kind of critical that he didn't connect with the audience or that he wasn't that good at promos, and he lacked some stuff that could have been a main eventer.
He did. And it's I always would hear those complaints that they don't push him right, blah, blah, blah. He gets paid plenty of money not to get pushed right.
Yeah. I mean,
but at the same time, there is, I think with him also, a lot of responsibility that he never, when they did give him the ball with Roman, he still stumbled on his promos.
Was that the one promo years ago, the four what do you say, now I'm blanking on it, but he kind of made the wrong connection about the ring. He said that the 4 squares or guys, it's a bad promo. I have to look it up, but no, keep going. Sorry, what else? Whatever you're thinking.
I just, I think he's kind of like icing on the cake. It's kind of like you get to see what you want, and then there's the extra. There's the icing on the cake there. Mm-hmm. And I like Cesaro. I'm a fan of Cesaro, but I feel like the fans rally behind him and then they forget about him.
Yeah.
It's not just the company. The fans, if the fans kept the momentum, he would be in the same place that Daniel Bryan was. That's the difference between Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, is that Daniel Bryan kept the momentum going.
Yeah.
People got excited about him or hated.
I looked up, he said 4 ropes. Instead of saying 4 like sides to the ring, he said 4 ropes. And there's only 3 ropes in the ring, in a wrestling ring. Yeah. So, I mean, for him, I thought there were moments where it's like, wow, the crowd is really loving him. Despite what he lacked promo-wise, the crowd really seemed to dug him. And I remember, when he threw, Big Show out of the ring to win the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, I was like, oh my God, like the crowd's digging him. I think a lot of people liked him for just in-ring skills.
Yeah.
And that's, and listen, I know there are different degrees to quote charisma or what people are attracted to as a wrestler, as a performer. His in-ring work, hands down, was amazing. Like, he had one of the greatest hot tags ever. Remember, what match it was, but he came in and just went around and took out everyone.
Yeah.
And,
with the spinning elbow thing. Yeah. Or his teeth getting smashed in.
Oh, God, that was, oh, man, I remember watching that live, and, he had to wear the mouth guard for a long time after healing up, and he had the great hot tag, and then
the big swing that went on forever. The
20 swings, he did that for a long time.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and then and then remember he had that one match with Randy Orton and beat Randy Orton on SmackDown that one time, and like a lot of people were like, "Whoa, he beat Randy Orton!" Like that was a kind of looked like a push was going. And then I was the night after WrestleMania, after he won the Andre match, that he got rid of Zeb Coulter and said he's no longer a Zeb Coulter guy anymore. He's a Paul Heyman guy now. Paul Heyman comes out, so everyone was like all happy. He's like, oh, this is awesome. Like, he's getting endorsed by Paul Heyman. He's due for a push, but it kind of just fizzled out. And it was just like, what happened to this push? So I think it felt like a lot of people felt like it was stop and go, where he would go on these tears in the ring and be amazing. People would cheer him, and then his momentum would stop, come and go. I mean, I remember Stone Cold asked Vince McMahon on his podcast years ago, and Vince said he lacks like mic skills, and is it because he's Swiss, and
he doesn't get over. Like he gets the people behind him, but they're, like I said, he's not over. He's not where people are crying and they want Cesaro, like they're just whining. Yeah. There's a difference between crying and whining, and it's just he didn't win. It's like, but here's the thing: if he won the belt, they'd do another example, he'd be the exact same reaction to Kofi. Oh, they should put it on this guy next. Immediately after he wins it, they would start saying who should beat him for.
As Daniel Bryan said, they're all fickle.
Yep.
But that's the thing. It was like there were moments where, with the Paul Heyman stuff, like that kind of fizzled out pretty quickly. And it was like, what happened? And
if you go old school, he's kind of like an Ivan Putski or Greg the Hammer Valentine. Like, they're good in-ring workers, but like you don't put the WWE world title on them.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a bummer that maybe he didn't achieve more as a single star, or maybe more title reigns. Yeah, I wish he would have been an IC champion at one point. I think that would have been great to kind of get that title going. But it's the biggest what if. Now, I think he's 41 now. So
I mean, the Bar was together for 2 or 3 years. So out of a 10-year career, that's a long stretch of time. He was with TJ for a year or so before he got, Well,
I remember Paul Heyman did an interview with Sam Roberts, and he explained like a fan asked him like, what happened with you and Cesaro working together, and Paul Heyman just revealed, as far as creative goes, Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker, but he said like that really part-time schedule, but they want to keep Paul Heyman on TV to remind people, to remind people, look, Brock Lesnar ended the Undertaker streak. So even though Brock is not here, Paul Heyman was the mouthpiece on TV to remind you of that feat over and over. So they just put him with Cesaro, so that way he had a reason to be on TV. But more or less, he was putting over Brock Lesnar and not Cesaro. So I think that's where a lot of people got confused. And I was hoping maybe at some point it was going to lead to Cesaro versus Brock Lesnar at some point. Like maybe Cesaro could tell Paul Heyman, like, quit talking about Brock, talk about me. Didn't play out like that. And I think Cesaro could have easily thrown Brock around. He was believable.
That was when it was like
2014.
Paul, Curtis Axel, Cesaro, and Ryback, right?
Yeah, well, Curtis Axel thing was the year before, and he won the IC title. And then the following year was Cesaro.
He won the IC title before he was with Paul. He beat Triple H on a Raw.
Was it that?
Triple H passed out from exhaustion. It was a terrible win.
See, he shouldn't have spit all that water out.
That's right. He should have hydrated.
Yeah. Come on, Triple H.
Yeah.
Spitting out everywhere.
He collapsed.
So
fluids come out.
So, with that being said, I mean, I think we all agree. We wish Cesaro the best of luck. We hope he lands on his feet and just dominates wherever he's at. But who knows? He could easily come back to WWE at one point too.
Maybe he'll go control his narrative.
Oh my God, that group. I got to learn more about them. I don't know too much. I just seen a lot of people saying stuff about them online. So I want to read up more about them and what their whole thing is. But no, I hope Cesaro, yes, does his own thing elsewhere away from those guys. But anyway, yeah, no, we wish Cesaro the best of luck and see what he does next. All right, something else that came out Friday night that was kind of intriguing and exciting. Well, so we'll talk about SmackDown more in a little bit. But during SmackDown, it was announced that Vince McMahon, yes, Vince McMahon himself, will be a guest on Pat McAfee's show this coming Thursday. Everyone got excited, like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. Vince doesn't do a lot of press or interviews himself.
No.
But he agreed to be a part of Pat McAfee's show. And this is coming off the heels of his great interview he did with Brock Lesnar a couple weeks ago. So, a couple things. So, Richard, I mean, obviously your thoughts on Vince appearing on there. I guess, what do you want to see?
I don't care. I'm looking forward to it. Like,
I'm fascinated.
If they don't talk about wrestling for 2 hours, I'll be happy. I'm fascinated. I'm sure a lot of it's going to be hyped about WrestleMania. Maybe some of it for Vince's Netflix documentary that's coming out, and we'll see. I'm excited. I don't think they're going to have a match like the rumor mill is saying. But Vince is 76.
Yeah. So with that being said, as soon as this interview was announced, then news started speculating and rumor mills started coming out. And apparently postwrestling.com, John Pollock wrote an article and said another major name is expected to take part in WrestleMania 38, which will surprise some. So Post Wrestling can confirm that Vince McMahon is expected to launch a program with Pat McAfee, which will include WrestleMania 38. And it says multiple sources informed us that McAfee was set for something on the show involving McMahon. And apparently it's on like the current in-house roster of events scheduled for WrestleMania. So, Richard, your thoughts on Vince McMahon coming back for a match at WrestleMania against Pat McAfee of all people?
There's no way. It's
I
not
don't
going to happen.
So.
If anything, they swerve us and it's going to be Shane. I think it's the wrong McMahon.
Or I think it could be Austin Theory. I think.
Well, true.
So I think what will happen is I don't think Vince is actually going to wrestle, which he shouldn't. He's 76. Like, how good is that match going to be? I know Pat McAfee.
I'd rather see Vince wrestle, though, at his age right now than Ric Flair, who's 3 years younger.
Dude, oh my God, that would be kind of interesting, the two of them. But with that being said, with Vince McMahon, he's too old. He should not wrestle. Like the guy, even when he talks on TV, his voice is not the same.
Match?
It was it Bret Hart?
Oh, has it been that long?
I think so. I think it was Bret Hart. He had the match with CM Punk, right? At Sacramento.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Sacramento.
Did you go to that?
I did not go to that one. So that was all within like 10 years ago. So
wow.
So with that being said, I think it's a little bit of a swerve. I think it's going to be. I know Pat McAfee can wrestle. We saw him against Adam Cole at one of those takeovers. He has trained.
His last match was that one he had with Kevin Owens on a SmackDown.
We got the headbutt.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is Vince will have someone represent him to fight Pat McAfee. In this situation, I could see it be Austin Theory, who's been kind of like getting mentored from Vince. Now with Pat, does he actually wrestle against Austin Theory, or does he swerve and have someone represent him in the match?
And it's Michael Cole, who's undefeated at WrestleMania.
That would be funny. Or how about this? I'm just throwing it out there. What if it is Cody Rhodes? He represents him because
name drop him. Yeah,
he did name drop him the other day, which at first you were like, oh, it's kind of nice to acknowledge Cody potentially coming back to WWE. At first he was kind of like, making fun of him or poking him, says, we don't want him, but then he could tell he was joking around. He says, yeah, I'm happy. If it is true he does come to WWE, that'd be awesome. Cool. So it's planting the seeds. I think everything's done strategically. Like, they isolated that clip, they put it out there on social media. So maybe Pat McAfee hires Cody to take on Austin Theory at WrestleMania.
What if you flip that? What if Vince decides, because everyone would think it would be Austin Theory, and Vince brings out Cody instead?
That too. I mean, there's so many different ways this could go. So I'm excited.
I think that would be a nice swerve, that if Cody came in as a heel, a corporate Cody.
Corporate Cody. Remember he had that one idea. He
had the mustache.
Yeah. That. But remember, he pitched an idea, like a new gimmick in WWE before he left. It was like inspired like Lex Luthor style, like he wear the suit and he was like in a high rise.
What he's been doing.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some images. If you look Cody Rhodes like Lex Luthor, you can see like the pitch ideas. I think they filmed some stuff but never got released. So that's what he was inspired by, like from Superman and stuff like that. So, but nonetheless, we'll wait and see how this plays out. I mean, personally, yes, I don't want to see Vince McMahon in the actual ring of wrestling. But if he hires someone to wrestle on his behalf,
or Vince with somebody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw him, remember, years ago when Austin was the special guest referee versus, Vince had Bobby Lashley, and then Donald Trump had Umaga. So
Battle of the Billionaires.
Hair versus hair. So.
And the rumor is that Austin is going to be involved in this WrestleMania, whether he has a match, a beatdown, or he's refereeing something. So.
Or wrestling against Kevin Owens. So. Dude, what happened if they want more face off in the ring? They're both there. Like maybe after Vince's match, Austin comes out and it's like one more, just flips him off and stun him.
That works every time.
It's the best pop.
It's your favorite. It's your favorite band hitting the hit song at the end.
Yeah, encore.
More. It's the encore every time.
Oh my God, that would be pretty awesome. So
I've probably spent as much time watching Steve Austin after wrestling shows as I've spent at a wrestling show. He takes up so much time messing around with the fans. I honestly, like, if Austin doesn't wrestle, I think it would be cool to have him referee the Lesnar Roman match. Who else could handle that and like keep Paul and the Usos at bay and get the rattlesnake?
Lays out stunners everywhere.
Everywhere.
You get a stunner. You get a stunner. Bam, bam, bam. Man.
I think even if Roman won, people will go home happy seeing Heyman get stunned. So.
Oh man. Well, let's say The Rock comes out and confronts Roman. And then, Austin comes out, too, and, stuns Paul Heyman, and Rock and Austin have a beer together or something. That would be epic. I don't know. I'm fancy booking what I want to see happen here in Dallas, Texas. So, we'll see, man. All right, let's move on over to this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Richard, you and I were talking off the air, and you brought up a good point and a very similar observation I had. Raw and SmackDown this week were both very good, right?
Very good this week. I watched on Hulu a lot. So this week I did that, and I was kind of like, I'll watch Raw tonight and SmackDown on Saturday, or last night, both nights. Yeah. So I wound up watching both of them last night. And I wasn't meaning to. I stayed up really late, but Raw was so good. I was like, I'll give SmackDown, 20 minutes, and then I'll go to sleep. I went up sitting and watching the whole thing. And just, God, this went by quick.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked for Mania.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's like, okay, this week was the fallout from Elimination Chamber, and theoretically on the calendar, no other pay-per-views are lined up before WrestleMania. So for the next 5-6 weeks. It's all, all hands on deck, promoting, getting storylines lined up for WrestleMania this year. So no more speed bumps or anything. So now it's like you really see things coming together after Elimination Chamber and setting up the storylines and the matches for WrestleMania. We saw a lot of stuff get confirmed this week, potential matches, and the card is coming together very nicely. So, it's nice knowing that, like, okay, it looks like WWE is, like, we know WWE does a great job of putting on the big shows.
The show itself is always good and big. It's just that sometimes the promotion, the lead up is less to be desired.
Well, and you mentioned off the air, and I noticed this too. Like last year, it kind of felt like things were kind of like last minute thrown together, like the last couple weeks. So,
well, remember last year too, though. They weren't 100% sure. We were going to have it at a stadium. So
yes, But,
so like I think I told you, like, even before the pandemic, it felt iffy for a while. Like, this is supposed to be really good, and it's not that it wasn't really good. It was just not as great as it should have been. And like the last time I felt like them promoting WrestleMania and going into it was when Triple H wrestled Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins showed up on TakeOver and kind of took over TakeOver for a minute until, because he
hijacked it. He
hijacked it because Triple H hadn't accepted the match 24 hours before the match, or 48, and it was just like, oh, come on. So, but this year, I'm already pumped.
Was that when Triple H came down then, like in the ATV with Stephanie on the back and like vroom, and then Stephanie went through?
That was Ronda and him.
Was that okay? And then Stephanie went through the table. I'm trying to remember. It's all blurred.
That sounds right. I think Seth had something to do with her going through a table. That sounds right.
So
now I'm going to watch that.
Like I said, Raw kicked off with your new WWE Champion Brock Lesnar. Cowboy Brock comes out. I mean, God, he's so over as a baby face right now. It's insane. And it was cool. He went to the little kid and said hi to the kid and had him like touch the title. That was pretty cool. It's like, dude, that kid is so lucky. That's such a cool moment there. But he's trying to celebrate, but Paul Heyman cuts him off, tells Brock like, hey, you're not going to be champion come WrestleMania. You're going to have to defend it at Madison Square Garden, which was interesting because the Madison Square Garden show, I think, is next Saturday, and it's just a house show.
Well, are they going to air it?
I don't know. Not that I know of at this moment, but he said,
it's harder to figure out these things because on the WWE Network, you could look ahead on their schedule.
Yeah.
And with this, you have to go through the Peacock schedule of multiple channels. Yeah. And it's, oh, God.
Well, and he said you're going to have to face Bobby Lashley if he passes concussion protocol. But if not, then it's we don't know yet. It's a mystery opponent then.
Yeah.
So I wonder who can he be. But nonetheless, they are advertising Brock is defending the title at Madison Square Garden at a house show. So
who's going to face Brock? It's not going to be Lashley.
Yeah, it's not Lashley because we know he has a shoulder injury and he should be out at least 4 months. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully maybe we'll find out on Raw this week. Maybe they'll tease it. But yeah, it's really rare that they promote a house show on Raw or SmackDown. So, but then again, it is Madison Square Garden. It's their official, unofficial home.
Well, and how often, even more rarely, how often is Brock Lesnar on a house show?
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
That's an expensive deal for a non-televised match.
And then we saw, Brock did say he was going to come to SmackDown this week and confront Roman. So we'll get into more of that when we talk SmackDown. We saw Alpha Academy defeat Street Profits. I'm guessing we're probably going to get a multi-tag team match for the Raw titles at WrestleMania. It's just going to be all the teams against each other. I mean,
that takes Kevin Owens out of his match with Stone Cold, Danny.
See, and that's the thing. Owens and Seth Rollins this week said they are going after those titles. I think their match is this coming week.
Well, and it could be something as simple as he just keeps talking trash about Texas, which he's been doing, and Austin comes out after the match and beats the crap out of Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I mean, so it'll be interesting to see who gets the tag title shot come WrestleMania. But I want to ask you, Chad Gable, his work as of late has been really good on the mic.
Of them. Both him and Otis.
But it's like, thank you.
Thank you.
It's like Chad Gable.
It's like a bad gag from Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah, but everyone's loving Chad Gable right now, his character work. I mean, obviously, and then Otis as well. Otis has been, you can see he's been like tiptoeing back and forth between serious Otis and his old Chris Farley-esque behavior.
Well, whenever someone brings up any article of food, he repeats it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like those fat people in the crowd eating hot dogs. Hot dogs, yeah.
He's like Homer Simpson.
Yeah, a macho man.
So we'll see how the tag title scene plays out. I'm digging what the tag team scene is looking like right now. So
I'd be happy with a 4-way.
That's kind of like that's kind of the MO. That would get everyone on the card.
Maybe a TLC.
When is it been 20 years? That first one, or was that 2001?
No.
That was 20 years last year.
2000 WrestleMania 2000 was the first ladder match, 3-way ladder match.
Then I want to ask you. So next up, we know Tommaso Ciampa made an appearance on Raw. He was going to wrestle, taking on the Dirty Dogs. Him and Dolph Ziggler have been going back and forth for a couple weeks now. Really cool. Ciampa had a mystery tag partner revealed, Finn Bálor. I was like, okay, cool. Connecting the dots, their time in NXT together, most recently on Finn's most recent run. What'd you think about Finn and Tommaso Ciampa working together?
I dig it. It's weird because Ciampa looks like he belongs on the main roster now.
Yeah, I think so.
I think maybe give him some longevity and put him in a tag team, Gargano. And have that be an actual tag team for a bit, because he wants to retire after his contract, right?
Ciampa, I
said
know
5 years.
Well, Ciampa in the past said like he didn't have any desire to go up to Raw or SmackDown. He didn't want to do that full schedule for his neck. But now he's like appearing on Raw, so it's like, okay, has things changed? Like, I'm kind of curious where
money changes everything.
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, if he's kind of worried about wear and tear on his neck, maybe put him in a tag team, so it's a little bit of less work. Gives Finn Bálor
taking
something
half the
to
bumps.
Do. Yeah, it gives Finn Bálor something to do. But I don't know if this was just a one-time thing.
That 5 years turns into 10.
Yeah, and it's a longer, more guaranteed money coming his way. Yeah. So I dig it though, him and Finn Bálor working together, because they've been two, former NXT champions, very dedicated. It was funny, and you think about Robert Roode, former NXT champion. So 3 out of the 4 guys in that match, former NXT champions. So.
And Robert Roode is much older than people think he is.
I know,
because he's been kept in tag teams his whole career.
Yeah, and he just takes care of himself tremendously. Remember, I don't know if you saw that one video. Where they film the wrestlers in the cars and they tell stories and stuff. Like, he was in a car. I forgot who was he with, but he was eating.
I think it was Gargano and Candice.
He was eating a bunch of hard-boiled eggs. Like, he needs his protein. It was like, God, I was just thinking of the fart.
I got a story about that. I got a story about that involving wrestling personality to tell you after the show.
Okay.
Remind me.
So Bálor, Ciampa get the win. Celebrate. It was cool seeing them kind of acknowledge each other. So I don't know if it's a one-time thing or this could be a regular thing. I'm in favor of a little bit more of that. If it gives Finn Bálor more TV time.
It's a one-time thing, as we saw later in the show with Bálor and his WrestleMania plan.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, good point. So before we get into that, another WrestleMania plan was revealed. The Miz was hinting that, after getting attacked, double teamed by the Mysterios at Elimination Chamber, he wants some backup, and he was going to reveal his new sidekick, his partner in crime, whatever.
Love the reveal.
On Raw.
No one in the back likes him enough to get a WrestleMania spot. So he had to go outside of WWE.
And he says, this guy's a Hollywood star, influencer, YouTube star. Sure enough, The Miz brings out Logan Paul. That's going to be his tag partner to go up against the Mysterios at WrestleMania 38. Logan Paul, to his credit, I know we touched on this last week. We're not big fans of him, but I give him credit. He seems pretty comfortable in the ring, especially on the mic, and the crowd, he has that natural heat on him already.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm for it. I'm 100% behind it.
So Miz and Logan Paul attacked the Mysterios. Even Logan Paul hit the, Miz's finisher on Rey. So yeah, they
Dominik.
Or it was on Dominik, yeah. So all right, match is coming. I mean,
I'm fine with it.
Makes it real easy to boo Logan Paul at this point.
Yeah.
And we know WrestleMania, besides the wrestlers, they like to have the outside celebrities come in, get involved, and so
sure. Since WrestleMania 1.
Yeah, oh yeah, and for anyone complaining about Logan Paul, listen, I don't care much about Logan Paul myself, but he has a huge following. If he can get those casual fans, his fans, to tune in, it's more eyeballs on WWE's product and more money potentially. So I get it from a business standpoint. We skip ahead a little bit. So yeah, we saw the U.S. champion Damian Priest defeat Shelton Benjamin.
Good match. I like the match.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what's next for Shelton Benjamin.
Here's what's funny is I wrote a note that I wanted to talk about on the show that I don't know, it doesn't feel like Damian Priest is over anymore. They haven't let him talk. I'm like, they should let him talk. And then right after the match, he picks up the microphone and
read
gives credit to Shelton Benjamin that he's a man and came to him face to face for the match, and then says he wants a heavyweight caliber champion to face him at WrestleMania, and we get Finn Balor. So it's like, I'm legitimately wondering, I wonder who this is going to be. And then I wasn't thinking Finn Balor. I kind of thought they'd bring him back after Mania, but that's cool.
Yeah, so that's interesting as far as Damian Priest calling more open challenges, someone to come challenge him, and Finn Balor answers him. So that's interesting. It's like, okay, I didn't really think of it, but Finn Balor versus Damian Priest.
And the announcers also stated, which they haven't been with Balor, that he's the first Universal Champion. They're kind of giving you his accolades again, and it's like, oh, okay, he's kind of back on track.
Yeah, for credibility, this is a big opponent for Damian Priest. Now, let me ask you this though: as you said, Damian Priest seems to kind of lose a lot of his, him being over with the WWE Universe. Do you think he should just go full heel, go full Damian instead of this Jekyll and Hyde split?
Well, that or like I said, give him the mic because he just comes out and he's despite being the champion, he's still new to this audience, and they don't really know anything about him. He doesn't talk, he doesn't. They just see him as the guy who wins matches.
Yeah.
That doesn't get you far. Cesaro. Hello.
So I'm intrigued by this. So I think they're having a match this week on Raw. So is this another one-off match, or does this lead up to a match between the two of them at WrestleMania? I'm curious.
If he gets mad.
Yeah, or it could be.
You don't want to see him when he gets angry.
Who, Damian or Finn?
Both of them.
I was gonna say, will Finn bring the demon to take on Damian Priest?
That'd be cool. I'm into that.
Or save that for WrestleMania.
I'd say save that for Mania.
Yeah, so we'll see. And then just want to give kudos, Bianca Belair versus Doudrop. That was a pretty excellent match. Right?
Yeah. I mean, the promo before, too, was great. Before even Becky came out, everything Bianca is gold. She is money.
Yeah.
She's printed money every time she comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts a good promo, gets things on track, put over everybody in the Elimination Chamber, puts over Becky, and then, takes her down a notch, and then she has to wrestle a match.
Yeah, no, that's Bianca. God, it's really interesting because there are some people who accomplish a lot in NXT, and you expect them to continue that success on the main roster, and hasn't worked out for them. And there are some people who
She's undeniable. She's an athlete.
Yeah, but who didn't? She never won the NXT Women's Championship because remember it was Shayna, Kyrie, Rhea. There was a lot of people ahead of her in that main event scene. She always put on competitive matches. I think had one title match, right? The triple threat with Rhea Ripley and Shayna, if I remember.
Yeah. I think she had one with Shayna, and then she had the triple threat.
Yeah, so it's but she was always on the outside looking in. But I love that coming to Raw and SmackDown, she's been pushed and she's lived up to all that hype and delivered. So it just shows that not everyone on NXT, if you aren't like the champion or whatever in NXT doesn't mean you're not going to do well in the main roster. It actually, I don't know. You get what I'm saying though. I feel like her time in NXT, don't let that judge how her success is going to be on the main roster. So she's really just outproved everyone that she's a star, and I like that she's really been pushed. I think it's almost like the fifth top. I mean, like for so many years, it's been the 4 horsewomen. Yeah. That's all everyone's ever cared about.
She's broken into that bubble more than anyone else. And like, there's a few people that are, riding like right on the edge there. I would say Ronda and Rhea and Asuka.
Yeah.
But I think there's the 4 horsewomen and Bianca now.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, there's 4 horsewomen, and then Bianca, Asuka. Yeah. I kind of wish Shayna would get pushed a little bit more, but
there's not longevity with Shayna is the problem. I mean, she's older than Beth Phoenix, remember? Yeah. So it's like, how much longer is she really going to be doing this? And like, she's good to be around the other girls and show them some things, kind of like Natty. But I get it.
Yeah. So it's
hard. It's hard when you want someone pushed and then you're like at the expense of which of the others, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. But no, like I said, Bianca, she's really she is the star of that women's division. And so this match here with Doudrop was great.
I think Bianca is probably the second best female talker too. I think Becky's probably number 1.
Okay. Yeah.
And Bianca's right behind her.
Absolutely.
It's probably the one, like Charlotte's a good talker, but she's not as good of a talker as she is in the ring. When she's a heel, she is. Yeah. She's a real bitchy heel.
Yeah, so it's like we saw the potential and the talent that was Bianca down in NXT, but even though she wasn't women's champion, we knew something was there, and I'm glad that it's really come out on the main roster, and it just shows that she has money and could probably be, in the main event scene for like the next 10 years. So that is exciting stuff. So, and Doudrop, great performance here. So yeah, looking forward to just the Becky Lynch build for Bianca.
Do you think that Bianca and Sasha had the best one-on-one women's match at a WrestleMania ever?
Bianca and Sasha.
One-on-one.
I think so. Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. That was worthy of a main event.
Absolutely. So, and then, let's talk about the main event here. So it was Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens versus RK Bro.
Awesome match. Awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God. Amazing.
That finish.
You shared it, right?
I shared it with music.
Yes. So no, I mean, it was just, you're seeing Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins work together. So,
we got the final moments was Riddle goes for an RKO and Owens lifts him up into Rollins, who buckle bombs him. He gets up stunnered and then curb stomped.
Yeah.
That was the most Shield finish. It was so good.
So Riddle took the pin though. So do you think RK Bro is on?
Cena's not kicking out of that one.
No, but you think Riddle and Orton are going to break up pretty soon, or
post-Mania? I think they're going to have that Mania match, and they're not going to win, and then they'll split.
Okay, yeah. I think it's sooner rather than later. Yeah. I think so at this point, even though the crowd loves them, and we see WWE, they take 2 singles guys, put them together, and mash
Frankenstein tag team.
But mash their theme songs together, like their theme song together combined, it's actually mixed pretty well the way they 2 work together. What was it? Kairi Sane and Asuka. Remember, it was just like one theme song first, and then cut to the other theme song, back to the other theme song, entrance song. Back. That was bad. So
that was bad.
Raw I thought it was just action packed. A lot of movement. Really.
Oh, and Edge's promo.
Oh, yeah, Edge's promos.
Where he dropped a bunch of Easter eggs of several different opponents.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about just how important WrestleMania is to him, the feelings. Yeah. And
but there was Easter eggs all over that. He's talking about, his history and ladder matches and what it would mean to have a match and Edge is kind of the last 2-3 years has kind of been like the Undertaker spot.
Yeah.
It's like the legend you want to see at WrestleMania spot.
And, he hinted, WrestleMania wants to be phenomenal. So, okay, is that going to be AJ Styles?
Yeah. I think guaranteed.
He made a reference, Smoke and Mirror, or what was it, like the Cody reference?
Yeah, but he also referenced Finn Balor. And it was just kind of like, maybe.
Yeah. I'm going to assume it's probably going to be AJ. That's kind of, so looking forward to that. So
I still think they're going to save Cody for, after WrestleMania. Because people are expecting a big surprise and give it to him.
Man.
That's a big spot to be reintroduced, though.
Yeah.
Like you kind of get, when you're at WrestleMania, you're going to get forgotten because of the main event.
But what is more important as far as being part of a WrestleMania show and having your name help sell tickets for that big stadium up to like 100,000 people?
Not with this amount of time. Again, it's 5 weeks. It's 5 weeks, but I think Raw after Mania, because they got to look at TV ratings too, keep that momentum. Okay. Because after WrestleMania, the viewership is always really high. So you bring back a big surprise, and maybe they, some of those people that might just watch that one night after WrestleMania stick for another couple weeks.
Yeah.
See how they're going to do with him.
So, we'll see how this all plays out. All right, let's move on over to Friday Night SmackDown, opening segment. Ronda Rousey comes out talking about, her match with Charlotte. Charlotte comes out, confronts her. They're going back and forth. It's just adding more to the rivalry. It was announced that Charlotte and Ronda are going to main event night 1 of WrestleMania. Yes. So that's big news there. Get some confirmation. Obviously, Brock, Roman are going to be night 2. So perfect. I think a lot of people were a little bummed though, because Bianca and Becky were not going to main event.
I don't feel like that's a main event match for this Mania.
And I will say this, like Bianca and Becky have both main evented previous WrestleManias.
Yeah.
So I think they're just trying to rotate around.
I also look. It's star power. Right now, like Becky Lynch is a big star, but she's not as big of a star as she was before she had a kid. And Ronda Rousey is a mega star, a Hollywood star, a UFC star. So it's like box office attraction there. Yeah. So like if you were to bump one of the that match for Becky and Bianca, I don't see that. Mm-hmm. And let's not downgrade who Ronda's opponent is for WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, Charlotte Flair. No, it's a tough situation because you do have a lot of star power in that women's division right now, as far as the upper tier goes. But we saw Ronda in the ring. Sonya Deville comes running out, hits her in the knee, takes her out. They start beating her up, and then Ronda comes back and makes a comeback. Sonya Deville gets confronted by Adam Pearce in the back, and it was announced hey, you took your jacket off. Where is it? All right, your action's uncalled for. You're going to have a match with Ronda next week. So I guess Sonya bit off more than she can chew in this situation with the matchup here. So careful what you wish for, Sonya. So it should be fun. Good match for us, for Ronda. And that would get her star power over on SmackDown for Fox. Please them. And then, have you noticed Big E and Kofi? They've been tagging again, but they don't call themselves the New Day. It's just still their first names, or on the bottom screen, the graphics and stuff. For whatever reason, I guess Xavier Woods not around.
I guess maybe they're just thinking of Xavier and Kofi, and this is really just to keep things busy for Big E and Kofi till Xavier comes back.
And they were different gear. They're not wearing the same colors.
I like that. Now I did like that. Okay. I noticed that too. And I thought the match that they had with Los Lotharios was really good.
And yes, I was going to say it. Yeah, really good match, even though it's the third week in a row. So I'm like, all right, it's, okay, it's a rubber match. All right, we're done here. You don't overdo this. I think, Raw and SmackDown, we see the same matches over and over, the rematches. But in this situation, great chemistry. Loved it. I hope Los Lotharios stay in the tag team hunt on TV and potentially get a title shot at some point. I could see at some point, same thing for SmackDown. Do you do a fatal 4-way? Do you do the New Day, Usos, Los Lotharios, Viking Raiders? I mean, I potentially see that happening for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I could too. It'd be cool if they did a team elimination match 4-way.
Almost okay. Yeah.
Harder to call when you do it that way.
And next, I was asking you this. They said Xia Li making her debut in WWE. I was like, she's been on TV for months. She got drafted back in October.
Her in-ring debut.
But I thought she wrestled already at some point on SmackDown.
She just kicked people.
She's been saving the day.
Yeah. Save the date.
So, a good match with Natty there. And her, her kick at the end that
was good
as finisher. I like, that's another one. Like, on NXT, they used her here and there, but didn't get the push.
Well, she got hurt really bad. Remember too when they were pushing her.
Yeah, and then, but here it's like I kind of like the lightning superhero kind of look that she has.
The protector.
Yeah, so I liked it. I'm digging it. So that's
I am too.
So I think
she got over too. Like the crowd was ready for her. That's like they are for Veer.
Oh my God, he's still coming.
I love it. I love that. They did that with Eva Marie when he was, or Emma Lucian.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
There was someone else, someone in the 90s who had like, I think 9-month vignettes airing. Oh, who was it? It was, I saw a list. Like Veer.
Barry Horowitz?
No, it was someone in the 90s who had like a 9-month.
Jared had like 9 weeks.
Hold on. I remember, Double J.
Hey there, folks.
Let me see. How would I look this up? Vignettes for 9 months. Let's see if I can just Google this real quick. Longest debut vignettes. Let's see. Let's see if this is 5 years ago. Let's see if this has it here. Wyatt Family was 43 days. Brodus Clay, 49 days. Razor Ramon, 54 days. Okay, let me go. Let me scroll to the bottom here because I saw this and I was like, who was that guy? Oh, okay.
Duke?
Brockus.
Oh.
273 days. June 97 to March 98. So, almost 9 months. So, Brockus. That's who had longest venue.
That didn't pan out.
Second was Glacier, 148 days. April 96 to September 96.
Wow.
Okay. Emelina, 134 days. October 2016. February 2017.
So they got to break it with Veer. They're going to break the record.
It's like 10 months. We got to get 10 months here. So, next up, the next promo I thought you probably loved the most, Sami Zayn's Intercontinental Championship celebration.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
He's just happy and he's telling everyone, everyone's shocked that I won with the conspiracy, but he's like, now just proves.
You know how you win the crowd over when you're a celebrity? It's when you run to the ring and you can slide into the ring without making a mistake. Johnny Knoxville comes out and challenges Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title, but slides into the ring.
I guess at that red jacket, and he's like,
John Knoxville, WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
What? Like, oh my God. So Sami Zayn said, like, hey, despite the conspiracy theory that to keep me down, I overcame the odds. Shows how great I am, and he wants to challenge someone. So Johnny Knoxville answers the challenge, wants a match at Mania. I love Johnny Knoxville, but there's no way he's going to win this. I mean, if he does win it, is it up there with David Arquette winning the WCW championship?
No, because here's the thing. Johnny Knoxville's a stuntman, right? At the end of the day, he's an actor, but he's a punching bag. Like the most physical David Arquette got before that win was in that match. So Johnny Knoxville breaks things every time he makes a movie. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think that if they do a match at Mania, there could be a whole lot of fun shenanigans with the entire cast of Jackass.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll all get involved, and Sammy will try to take them all out at some point. So I'm excited for Johnny Knoxville. I'm a big fan. We're all big fans of his, but I just don't know how this is going to play out at WrestleMania. It should be interesting. I mean, it's another example of star power. Like, Logan Paul, Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, yeah.
Get his, his audience to follow over and watch him on WrestleMania. So that'll be funny. So, and like Johnny Knoxville said, you crashed my premiere. I'm going to crash your celebration. So, next up.
Well, there was a line from Pat McAfee about like, do not adjust your TVs, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a homeless man. That's our Intercontinental Champion.
Well, something else I was a little people were kind of taken back by. Sasha Banks had a match against Shotzi, so great to see Sasha back on TV. We haven't seen her since
Shotzi.
And since Royal Rumble. For Sasha, quick match though. Sasha kind of just beats Shotzi in 2 minutes, so it wasn't super long. But Naomi came out, was ringside, then she comes in the ring and grabs the mic and says, "You're looking at your next WWE Women's Tag Team Champion." So it's like, oh,
there we go.
All right, Naomi and Sasha are a tag team again. Was it Team Bad back in the day?
Yeah. But what I thought was really funny was right after she said that, the backstage announcer lady, the Irish girl, was like, "I don't know what that's all about." And it's like, what do you mean you don't know what that's all about? They're kind of proclaiming they're going to win, lady.
Yeah, that was such an idiotic statement. Megan, I felt bad. Like, whoever told her to say that, if that was her own call or not.
I kind of felt like it came from her.
But it's like, I have no idea what they mean that they want to be the next tag team champion, women's tag team champions. No, it's obvious.
Stop and think about it.
They want to win the gold. They want to challenge Selena Vega and Carmella for the tag titles. It's not that hard.
Do you know why Sam Roberts was there?
I have no idea. Wait, the
Usos. That was odd.
I have no idea. Unless...
Where did his hair go?
He just shaved it off, man. He just said,
"He's sick."
No, he just shaved it all off. But like they had some other backstage interviewers, newer ones over the last year, and I don't know where some of them have gone. They're like here and there,
gone.
Quick hits.
Some of them are gone. Yeah, I think they've been testing some people out.
Okay, but your thoughts on Sasha Banks going in the tag team scene and Naomi?
Into it. I like this team. And I think that whenever Sasha Banks has that tag team title, she seems to really want to wrestle everybody.
Well, okay, a couple things or three things here. Let me think. So I kind of wonder, maybe Naomi's taking the spot of Bayley. Maybe they thought Bayley would be back in time so Bayley and Sasha can reunite and go after the tag titles because they have one before. So maybe Bayley's not ready yet, so that's why Naomi's getting involved. My other
Bayley could come back with a new tag team partner. Someone who used to be friendly and nice and then dyed their hair pink and went crazy.
Dakota Kai?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
They've been teasing her on Main Event for months now. She'll have a match on Main Event, a match on Main Event, a match on Main Event, not on the main roster.
Well, a couple things. And then also, the only reason I'm glad to see this, though, is that way maybe Carmella and Selena will have to go to SmackDown because the women's tag titles is supposed to be used on cross brands.
Yep.
So maybe
which means that they can go on both shows.
Yeah. But my only one last concern, though, is for Naomi, we've had this match or this storyline with Sonya Deville play out for months, and I thought we're going to get the big payoff one-on-one match at WrestleMania. It doesn't look like that's going to happen now.
It doesn't, because it looks like Sonya's attention is now with Charlotte and Ronda, which is a better position for Sonya.
Okay. But I mean,
she could be in Charlotte's corner at WrestleMania and still have Ronda win it. But like, no matter what, she gets the rub from that. You know, she's part of the main event at WrestleMania instead of being on the opening match. And then Naomi is in a better spot too, because now she's in a title match and she'd probably win it.
All right. I like your optimism there. Thank you, Richard. No, but I think for me, I guess technically they did get the one-on-one match on SmackDown last month, and they had the Elimination Chamber match.
For us, we want that match, but when you look at it the way I just laid it out, it's a better position for all of them, because even if Sonya's not wrestling, people still talk about who was with someone in the main event. Yeah. Alex Riley, his biggest claim to fame now is that he was in the main event alongside Miz.
With Bob Orton, right?
Orton.
With Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
So, okay. Next up, we saw Drew McIntyre take on Madcap Moss.
Good match again.
Yeah, okay, a couple things. So, Happy Corbin was originally supposed to take on Drew, but he's like, nah, you and I, when we wrestle, that's a WrestleMania caliber match. I shouldn't waste this on SmackDown. Madcap, you jump in here. So do you think this is foreshadowing Madcap getting a babyface run at some point, turning?
No. Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
Like Happy, like Madcap's going to get frustrated and tired of Happy, like using him.
I think that we're going to get Drew and Happy Corbin at Mania.
Yeah.
And Corbin's probably going to try to get Madcap to take the match for him. And that's where he walks out on him. And then Drew gets to finish the feud with both of them, because then after that, Happy Corbin can feud with Riddick Moss.
Yep. Okay. And he drops the whole joke gimmick and stuff.
Yeah.
But
that dude's a player. That guy immediately jumps off the page. Like Cesaro, you watch the work. Like I can see Madcap in a better position than a Cesaro.
Yeah, Madcap. I to his credit, his matches with Drew,
athlete.
With his matches with Drew have been good, hard hitting, physical.
He brings the energy. I mean, the way I don't think anyone hits the ropes as hard as he does.
Yeah, when he ran multiple times and then Drew hit that Claymore, that was a great finish right there. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, oh God.
But before the match, they were showing the replay of when Drew dropped Madcap on his head, which is still a scary spot. But there
was one in there where you could see his face when it hit, and I don't remember seeing that on the pay-per-view, and it just made me cringe so bad.
And as I teased last week, so I did do an interview with Drew McIntyre this week. Listen to it. I did ask him about that spot, the Alabama Slam, and Madcap landing on his head. So he gives his answers and thoughts on that. So please listen to that. But like I'm saying, Madcap, dude, he's really been to me. I've really been impressed with his in-ring work and what he can do. So if he, drops Happy Corbin, goes babyface, has a program with Happy, and then after that he can go on probably a tear on his own. So I'm looking forward to the potential of what Madcap Moss can bring here. So,
I concur.
Yeah, exactly. And then main event was more just the contract signing between Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. So it was announced on Friday not only is it winner take all, champion versus champion, but it also said title unification. So what we all been kind of speculating for weeks now is finally coming true. Richard, your thoughts on title unification now?
Are we getting a cool new belt?
See, that's the thing. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's like whoever wins, let's say hypothetically it is Roman, does he walk around with both titles? Like how, what was it?
Well, if they're unifying them, they're getting rid of one.
So, because remember when Jericho won, he had both titles. Was it Randy Orton had both titles?
Brock was the last.
So
Daniel Bryan, Cena.
So you walk around with both titles.
I would prefer that. I like that. I mean, look, All Japan has had 3 titles for their heavyweight title for 20, 30 years now. Triple Crown champion.
Well, I just want to know, I would love to see a new title design. So it's like, okay, take these two, merge them together.
I want an eagle. Okay, I want a big ass eagle.
Big gold circular plates.
Yeah. You can put whatever diamonds you want on there.
Just look at MLW titles.
Oh yes.
Dude, was it the national openweight title? The one Hammerstone had for a long time.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite title right now.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 20 years. So
yep.
I'm all for a new title design. And then, therefore, the winner will now have a reason, I guess, to appear on both Raw or SmackDown.
Which tells you who's going to win the match.
Do you think, though, they should end the brand split or just keep the brands existing, but just this person appears on both shows?
I mean, if you get rid of the brand split, you're getting rid of tag team titles and
women's title.
So, ideally, I don't know why the brand thing can't be limited to just the champions. These are the champions of this show. They only appear on this show. And then everyone else can float.
Okay. I don't know. See, that's where I get kind of confused.
Yeah. Well, but it also puts a focus on who your champions are.
Yeah. So why I'm for a title unification is therefore whoever is the champion, it means more. Like, you know, there's not two like main champions. There's one main person everyone goes after, and whoever beats that person gets the biggest rub from it. Also, I think it kind of puts more emphasis back on the IC and US titles. Like, okay, if the world champion goes on both shows, the IC title can still be on SmackDown, US title can still be on Raw, and those titles for those individual shows get more value. It's like, okay, like let those titles main event, you know, particular episodes of Raw or SmackDown respectively. So like give more credence to those titles once again.
Yeah. I just don't like it because they're going to bring it. Like if they change the belt, they're just going to bring one back. It's just a matter of how long are they going to wait till they bring it back.
My only concern is if they do end the brand split, then we're going to see the same faces on both shows over and over, and then less TV time for some other people.
Then they can get rid of more people.
Yeah, from the investors going to be like, yeah, go ahead, do it. It's like, no, you guys let go a lot of people already. Keep what you have already going. Keep them around. So we'll see we'll talk about it more as we probably get more info and figure out how this all plays out. But for the segment itself, security cards in the ring.
Roman Reigns gave the promo of his career here.
Yeah, like, you know, Brock, you know, signed the contract, threw it in his face.
Well, it was funny if you exclusively watch Roman Reigns from the minute Brock's music hits. He sits there, he won't even look up at where he is, and Brock's standing like he's circling the ring, and Roman's just kind of like smiling, like whatever, like just kind of like blowing him off. And Brock gets in the ring, and Brock puts the title down. He looks at the title, Roman, and as they're going on, Brock threw the mic down at where Roman was, and that got Roman's attention. Like he jumped, like, okay. And then he laid it all out, you know, like, this is my show. These are my cameras. These are my announcers. These people in the crowd, these are my people. And the security guards in the ring, they work for me.
I loved it. Like his energy, his passion. Yeah. I laughed earlier. Paul Heyman.
That's called big dick energy.
I laughed with Paul Heyman. Told Brock, quit Pete. I'm tired of your, because, you know, Brock's being all cocky. And he's like, I'm tired of your behavior. And, but that promo Roman cut at the very end. And, he told the security, like, get him. And then Brock took out all the security guards. It felt like a fight sequence from like a movie.
Yeah. It's like The Matrix. He took out all of Mr. Smith.
They all come after him. He takes the table, takes out like 2 or 3 guys, and they fall. And then the one guy had his hands up. Brock took the office chair and just threw it at him. And
that was great.
And then F5, a couple more, and suplexed them, whatever. Took them all out. So great finish as far as Roman's promo. Brock looking like a badass physically.
That felt like the go home promo for WrestleMania,
right? And we're still like
four more SmackDowns till we get there.
It was shocking. So,
let me ask you this: Do you think there's 10-20% chance that they screw Brock out of the title before WrestleMania for that Madison Square Garden show?
But who else is at Brock's level for star power to fill up that stadium for WrestleMania? I
would say just Lashley, but we know that he's getting shoulder surgery. Unless like it's not as bad as we think it is.
Or Cena. It's not Cena. I mean, I don't. I think they're just trying to promote that Madison Square Garden show. Brock will win.
And that would mean that Cena would have to be in cohorts with Heyman. So it's got to be someone that can be manipulated.
So no, I think Brock's winning. This is the trilogy. This is the third matchup between the two of them at a WrestleMania, because you got 31, 34, and now 38. And so this Roman to Brock is Stone Cold to The Rock. This is the third and final matchup at WrestleMania. I think
hopefully final. Hopefully.
Yeah. So I think, you know, and Roman hasn't beat Brock at a WrestleMania, so I imagine he's going to win here. Finally beats Brock, but then he's beaten all the other people in the last year and a half he's been champion. So he's really going to be in God mode and therefore theoretically will take on The Rock next year if it all works out. Beats The Rock, so he's at an all-time level. So whoever beats Roman eventually
Drew
gets the ultimate rub. I would love to be Drew. So.
I think it will be. They still are. Yeah, he's still in good favor, clearly.
Or could be Braun Breaker. Over a year from now, he should be ready. Maybe, I don't know.
Rock for Roman.
For Roman after he beats The Rock at next year's WrestleMania, if it all works out plan wise.
I don't think so.
Walter or Gunther.
Walter maybe, but Walter, you'd have to make a super heel to make that work.
We'll see, man. So
you could. He's a big, scary bastard.
So no, I like this last segment here. Contract signing, total chaos, but a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, here we are on the full road to WrestleMania. No more speed bumps. Go full speed. Here we are. Can't wait for it. And on that note, let's start wrapping things up. Richard, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Pro Wrestling 101, and you can send your hate tweets and messages over to at Baby Huey 83 on Instagram and Twitter. Private DM me messages at Danny Delmore. All the negative feedback that you want to give me. Okay, I'm ready for it.
Wow.
Use whatever kind of foul language you want. Don't censor yourself.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official. I don't know why I need to plug my stuff. You plug half of it already.
Yeah, I'll plug it all.
So follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. For everything else, at In The Kliq. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts at. Watch the videos on YouTube. Subscribe there. Give us a like, a comment, share the podcast. We appreciate all the support. Like I said just a little while ago, listen to my interview with Drew McIntyre. That got released yesterday. So after you listen to this, go back one episode, listen to that interview. Good stuff there. Talk about a lot of things with him. I'm supposed to have one more big interview coming this week, so keep an eye on that.
With Drew?
No, someone else. So I don't want to say yet because I want to make sure it goes through properly. So I just don't want to jinx myself. So knock on wood.
This is your sit down with Vince McMahon, right?
Yeah, before Pat McAfee comes
on Wednesday. You got an interview on Wednesday with Vince McMahon.
So, like always, we appreciate the love and support. Thank you, guys. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.